Hi, my name is Ilma, and today I'd like to share Psalm 109, verses 1 to 7. God of my praise, do not be silent, for they have opened a wicked and deceitful mouth against me. They have spoken against me with a lying tongue. They have also surrounded me with words of hatred, and have fought against me without cause. In return for my love that they act as my accusers. But I am in prayer, so they have repaid me evil for good, and hatred for my love. Appoint a wicked person over him, and may an accuser stand at his right hand. When he is judged, may he come out guilty, and may his prayer become sin. Here's my devotional. Lord, do not be silent. Deal with my enemies. Matthew Henry says, whether David penned this psalm when he was persecuted by Saul, or when his son Absalom rebelled against him, or upon occasion of some other trouble that was given him, is uncertain, and whether the particular enemy he prays against was Saul, or Doeg, or Ahithophel, or some other not mentioned in the story, we cannot determine. But it is certain that in penning it, he had an eye to Christ, his sufferings, and his persecutors. For that imprecations in verse 8 is applied to Judas in Acts 1 verse 20. The rest of the prayers here against his enemies were the expression not of passion, but of the spirit of prophecy. He lodges a complaint in the court of heaven of the malice and base ingratitude of his enemies, and with it an appeal to the righteous God. He prays against his enemies and devotes them to destruction. Unquote. So people may be wondering how David could pray this way to God, almost like giving God a command in verse 1. Not to let these evil people continue their ways without being rebuked or corrected or punished. In verse 2, he files a complaint to God for their lies and wickedness. It only exhibits David's dependence on a God he really knew very well. He knows that he belongs to him and that the Lord hates evil. He is looking forward to be vindicated by God as he opens up his heart to God for all the evil done to him by his enemies. Like a little child in verses 3 to 4, he tells the Lord what they have done to him, and yet he repay them good for the evil they did. In verse 6, he pleads God to bring justice to the evil they have done to him. Reflection. How often do we come to God for deliverance like David does? I have done that since I was like 7 years old. I think the Lord has invited me to let him come into my heart since that age, because I was abused that time. I was never listened to, I was never heard, I was never seen, never loved, neglected, always criticized and blamed. So I had no other person, but I began to have a relationship with the Lord at that young age. So that was over 5 decades ago. And so I have that attitude like David. But through the course of my life, there are some corrupted system of the world that got me complaining to people. But I usually honestly complain to God when something wrong is happening in my life, and he is very faithful to deliver me from whatever it is that I complain about. So we need to come to God for everything, especially for deliverance from our enemies, especially for strengthening for our weaknesses, because when we do that, we acknowledge his power. When we do that, we depend on him, and that's what he wants. He wants us all to be like his little children, and to be a parent, to provide for everything, and to protect us from everything that may hurt us. So I encourage you to have that open attitude to come to God for anything and everything, because He knows us anyway. He knows everything. He knows whatever we're going to ask for even before we ask for it. So why not take the risk of doing that, because that will bring you the promises that He has given you. Thanks for watching. I hope you check my website at ilma'S.com for artworks and photographs, and I hope you subscribe to my channel on YouTube so I could make more videos for the Lord. God loves you so much, and so do I.